Hello everyone, welcome back. I'm in New York City, taking care of some personal family business, and basically I wanted to share with you guys my disappointment in New York not rebuilding the World Trade Center exactly the way it was. Okay, so if you look straight ahead over there, there's a bunch of buildings. That is completely indistinguishable as New York City. Okay, when I was growing up, because I grew up here in New York, I mean, you always knew that you were in New York, or if you saw a picture of New York, because of the World Trade Center. Okay, so instead of rebuilding the towers, they built that stupid building over there that just looks like any other building, and you can't tell that's New York City. So I am very disappointed. I had said back there, I had posted everywhere I could that the towers should be rebuilt exactly as they were. If anything, they should have been rebuilt a little bit taller. But that was like the first thing that, like, one of the first things that really turned me off about New York. And because back then I wasn't a gun guy. Okay, not that I didn't want to be a gun guy, but again, growing up in New York City, I just didn't even think that was a thing, right? It wasn't until many years later, about around 2008, 2009, where I started traveling out of the city. I started seeing, what the United States really is. Okay, so for like the first, like, I don't know, I guess 30 years of my life, I mean, I was living in this fishbowl over here called New York City. So I'm so happy I escaped, but yeah, I just wanted to share my disappointment with New York for not rebuilding the towers the way they were. Okay, so that's where the World Trade Center used to be. Okay. By the way, in case you're wondering regarding my opinion of the Afghanistan war and the Iraq war, my opinion is I was very much in support of the war, and I was not interested in rebuilding or spreading democracy and that stuff. I supported the war just because I wanted revenge. Okay, so for me, I wanted a short, quick war of destruction to get revenge. Okay, and then they completely turned it into something else. I did not support what they turned it into, and in the end, they basically, I mean, we spent 20 years and I don't know, trillions of dollars to replace the Taliban with the Taliban. Okay, so that was a very big disappointment. So yes, I did support the Iraq and Afghanistan war, but only as a war of revenge. And that's, maybe that's morally wrong, but that's how I felt, and I still feel that way. Somebody hit you gotta hit them back hard. Okay? But I was very disappointed with the fact that they did not rebuild the towers. So anyway, over there you can see the Statue of Liberty. I don't know how good the camera is, but it's there. Statue of Liberty is over there, and then over there's New Jersey. Over here on this side we got Staten Island. Over there we've got the Verrazano Bridge. Okay, and then right here behind me is Bay Ridge, Bay Ridge, Brooklyn, which is where I grew up. Okay, and actually my high school, Severian, is right over there. That's my high school over there. That's where I went. So, all right, hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I will talk to you all soon. Hey everyone, I wanted to mention one more thing. If you noticed that while I was talking about the island of Manhattan over there, I was referring to that as New York City, and that's kind of like a New York thing, because New York City is actually comprised of 5 boroughs, right? So it's Brooklyn, Queens, Manhattan, Staten Island, and the Bronx. Okay, but if you're in any of the other boroughs, right, you will typically refer to Manhattan as the city. All right, so in fact, if you're, when we write letters, right, if you're in, if your address is Brooklyn, New York, you're going to put Brooklyn, New York, or you're going to put Staten Island, New York. But if you live in Manhattan, right, you don't put Manhattan, New York. You put New York, New York on the envelope. Okay, so to people that grew up in New York, when we say the city, typically we're referring to Manhattan, even though all 5 boroughs, combined, have been basically combined into New York City. It wasn't always like that. I think this happened sometime early 1900s or just before 1900, were the 5 boroughs, which was basically 5 individual. Like Brooklyn was basically its own city. They were all combined into one giant city. So that would be the reason why I'm like pointing to Manhattan over there, and I'm calling it New York City, because that's just a New York thing. But yeah, the whole time when I was pointing over there, I was really talking about Manhattan. Talk to y'all soon.